It's Friday, everyone. What do we do on Fridays here at the Hint Hive? That's right, we smash the patriarchy. Hello, my fellow queens. Welcome back to another episode of the Hint Hive, Amplifying Women's Voices. I'm your host, Kelly Hint, Queen Bee of this hive, and today we're diving into a topic that too many of us are intimately familiar with: motherhood myths. That's right. We are breaking down all the ridiculous, outdated, and just plain unfair expectations that society has thrown at mothers. Buckle up, because we're about to get real about what it means to be a mother in today's world. Ladies, whether you're a mom thinking about becoming one, or you're just a woman who's fed up with these cookie-cutter boxes that we're shoved into, this one's for you. If you're an auntie or a woman who's decided not to have children, maybe this will help you to understand the other moms in your life, or maybe even your own mom. Because we will be talking about obviously, we're talking about the myths of motherhood. So maybe we can have a little bit of empathy for our moms and what they went through. We are going to smash the stereotypes and reclaim what motherhood actually looks like. Spoiler, it's not what the glossy ads or old school norms tell you. All right, ladies, are you ready? Let's dive in. So let's start with the biggest, baddest myth of them all: the perfect mother. I mean, who hasn't heard of this myth, right? The mom who's got everything under control. The one who bakes cookies, keeps the house spotless, works a full-time job, and somehow still has the time to attend PTA meetings, all while looking like she just stepped off a magazine cover. I mean, let's be real. This perfect mother is nothing more than a guilt trip wrapped in a Stepford smile. Stepford? Am I too old? Are you guys getting the reference? Stepford Wives? Google that one if you have no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, it's a load of crap. And it's time we stop letting it dictate how we feel about ourselves. Real motherhood is messy. It's chaotic. It's beautiful. And guess what? It looks different for every single one of us. Some moms go back to work. Some moms stay at home. Some moms are solo. Others have partners. Some moms are exhausted and some are thriving. And all of it, it's valid. Perfection is a myth, and the idea that we need to constantly juggle everything flawlessly is just another way that society tries to keep women in a never-ending loop of self-doubt. It's time to throw out that picture-perfect image and embrace reality. Motherhood doesn't look like a Hallmark card. It looks like you, doing your best every single day, and that's enough. More than enough. And stop the crap with comparing yourself to all the moms on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Because guess what? That's nothing more than filtered reality and selective posting. It would be so much better to see some of these, quote, perfect moms in reality, with their hair all messed up, makeup half running down their face, baby barf on their perfect shirt, because perfection is a myth. And let's bust another one of these myths. The idea that women are naturally equipped to be mothers. That the minute we hold our child, this magical instinct kicks in and we just know how to parent like pros. Well, spoiler alert, it doesn't always work like that. Motherhood is not some mystical calling encoded in our DNA. Sure, some women might feel a strong instinct from day one, and that's great for them. But for a lot of moms, that instinct doesn't come overnight. There's no handbook, no natural wiring that's going to give you all the answers. We're human, which means we learn through trial and error and a whole lot of Google searches at 3 a.m. for those of us having children now. Some of us, myself, didn't have the luxury of Google back then. And can we just acknowledge that motherhood looks different for every person, regardless of whether you gave birth, adopted, fostered, or are step-parenting? The idea that all women are supposed to inherently know how to be perfect moms is another form of control. It's society's way of saying, stay in your lane, don't question anything, you're just a mom. Well, we are questioning, and we're rewriting the rules on our terms. Because let me tell you, I was not the perfect mother. My house often looked like a bomb went off when my son was 2 years old because he was a whirlwind of activity. And there wasn't a whole lot of natural instinct other than me being able to keep my children alive. That's about it. And love. I instinctively loved them, but I find it easy to love a lot of children, whether I'm connected with DNA or not. And for those of you who don't have children, you may be able to relate to this one. If you have nieces and nephews and you just love them and it comes naturally, okay, that's fantastic. But guess what? Sometimes you give birth and you get frustrated and angry with the child instead of just naturally loving them, especially when you have a child that is a challenge, a baby that's a challenge, colicky babies. Oh my goodness. Guess what, ladies? It's okay to be frustrated with being a mom, but I'll get into all that later. Let's talk about the myth of sacrifice, because this one drives me crazy. This myth is really insidious. This idea that being a good mom means sacrifice. That once you become a mother, your entire identity should revolve around your children. Self-care? Out the window. Personal dreams and ambitions? Put those on hold. If you're not living and breathing for your kids 24/7, then you're doing it wrong, right? Wrong. Motherhood does not mean erasing who you are. You don't suddenly lose the right to have your own life, your own desires, and your own space. In fact, teaching your kids that you matter, that your goals and mental health are important too, is one of the best gifts that you can give them. Because you're showing them what it means to value yourself, which will teach them to do the same. If you hear nothing else, hear this. It is okay to prioritize yourself, moms. It's okay to have boundaries. And it's definitely okay to say, hey, I need a break. You are not a bad mom for that. You're a human being, and humans need balance. There's no glory in being a martyr. Taking care of yourself is an essential part of being a great mom, because guess what? Burned out, resentful moms aren't doing anyone any favors. This is definitely a myth that I wish someone had smashed when I was a young parent. I thought I had to sacrifice everything. And I kind of did. I put my dreams on hold. I poured everything into being a mother. And you know what? I put my children above my husband. And this may be controversial to say, but I regret it. Because my husband is the one who is going to be by my side when I'm 80 some odd years old in that rocking chair. My kids, they're going to be out living their own lives. My husband is my ride or die. My children are the product of a beautiful decision that my husband and I made together, and we both love them deeply, very deeply, but they are not the end of our lives. And I do have regret that I allowed myself to buy into the myth that motherhood equals sacrifice. And here's the part for those of you who are not moms, because this is a classic myth that motherhood is the ultimate fulfillment of being a woman. That until you have a child, you're not really complete as a person. Ugh, where do I even begin with this one? First off, let's just say it. Women are not defined by their ability to bear children, despite what you may be hearing in today's society. You don't need to have kids to live a full, meaningful, badass life. Motherhood is a personal choice, not a mandate. And it's time we stop acting like it's the only path to fulfillment. There's this weird pressure on women to explain why they don't have kids, as if their decision needs to be justified. What the hell is up with that? Let's just clear this up. Choosing to not have kids is just as valid as choosing to have them, period. Every woman has the right to define what makes her life fulfilling, and they can look like a million different things. Maybe it's building a career. Maybe it's travel. Maybe it's art. Maybe it's all of the above. Being a mother does not make you more of a woman. And not being a mother doesn't make you less of one. Your worth is not tied to your reproductive choices. End of story. Let me tell you, there are 2 women in my family that could not have children despite that they wanted them. And one of them is my dear Aunt Erica. And, here come the tears. I need to pause for a moment. Okay. Hopefully I have it together and I can get this out without crying. So my Aunt Erica, apparently I can't do this today. All right, here we go. So she couldn't have kids, and that broke my heart. And it broke my heart because she wanted them and wasn't able to have them. And I know, because of who she is, that she would have made a fantastic mother, because she is an amazing aunt. And I don't even like calling her my aunt, because she's more of a friend to me than anything else. She has been there to love and support me, my husband, and my children fiercely. When I think of somebody who did not give birth to me that loves me fiercely, it is her. She comes to mind. And for anyone to infer that she is less than because she doesn't have children, well, they can F off, because she is one of the best humans that has ever loved me. And I know how painful it is when a woman wants to have a child and can't have one. And I know it doesn't make up for that, but to have that space instead to give that love in other ways to other family members, that's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So for any of you women out there who really wanted to have children, but for one reason or another could not have children, I'm sorry for that disappointment. I really am, and it breaks my heart for you. However, you have other options for that outlet of love that you so desperately wanted. There are other people in your life that you can give that to. Because I can tell you right now that without my aunt, that I've had some very dark days in my life, and she has shined a light in those areas like no other has. And so I'm so incredibly grateful to her. And I know a lot of gay couples who don't have children, whether by choice or inability to afford the means to have a child. And they are some of the best aunts and uncles out there. And so I just want to reiterate, being a mom is not the path to womanhood, not at all. And if you don't want children, please don't have them, because they'll be coming to me for therapy sometime down the road. Trust me on this one. You don't need to have a child to be worthy. Not at all. You can put that energy somewhere else. Just like my family members have, just like other people's family members have. It's frustrating to me. And again, like as a mom, I've got a couple kids, and I've said before that one of my children doesn't want to have children of their own, and my other child does want to have children of their own. But we're unsure if that will take place or not. And to my daughter-in-law, I gotta pause again. Holy crap. Okay, it has got to be my hormone replacement therapy that is making me so emotional, because I was like a rage-filled robot before I started HRT, and now I'm crying again. So, gotta love that. Okay, anyway, for my daughter-in-law, who may or may not someday choose to have children, I love her regardless of that decision. If she chooses not to have children, I will not love her any less. She is a beautiful soul, a beautiful human. She has brought so much light to my life as well as that of my sons. She does not need to prove herself to anyone, and she knows that. But I'm saying it anyway, even though she knows it. She does not need to reproduce to be a worthy human. And I just, again, like as a mom, yeah, I want to be a grandma. But guess what? I can be a grandma without having biological grandchildren. Because guess what? I am a grandma. I have claimed one of my son's friends as my own, and he has 2 beautiful children. And I am lucky enough that he and his wife allow my husband and I to play the role of grandma and grandpa to his kids. So this is what I'm talking about, people. You got to think outside the box sometimes. You don't have to fit neatly into a box. Family doesn't have to look a certain way. And that is not to take anything away from anyone who wants a traditional family life. If you want it, grab a partner who wants the same thing as you and go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're a mom and you want to stay home with your kids, great, do it. If you're a mom and you want to go back to work, great, do it. Just stop letting society dictate what the rules are. There's no need for it. We are individuals and we get to make our own choices, and society does not get to dictate them. And I can't have this episode end without a little bit of an insult to J.D. Vance. You know, he made the comment, some comment about there are too many childless cat ladies involved in decision making, like whatever it was. I'm sorry, but we are so much more than just mothers. That is one teeny tiny piece of being a woman. And the fact that people like him are out there claiming that motherhood is the end-all be-all, that adds to the pressure that people who do decide to have children experience. It leads to this whole craziness, the whole pressure of being the perfect mom. Guess what? There are no perfect moms. If you're seeing them online, it's not reality. You're seeing the filtered version of their lives. Motherhood is messy. My children, at various points throughout their life, have hated me, have despised me, have walked away from being a part of my life. Let me tell you, that part's not fun at all. But guess what? I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes, and so are my kids. So none of us are perfect. And it's about damn time that we start smashing these stereotypes, these myths about motherhood. So, Hive, the point here is that it is just about damn time to break free from these suffocating motherhood myths. Society's expectations are outdated and frankly unrealistic. Whether you're a mom or not, we all have the power to define our lives, our worth, and what it means to be a woman. If you're a mom, I hope today's episode reminded you that you are doing enough, more than enough, and you don't have to fit into any mold. If you're not a mom, I hope it reaffirmed your right to live life on your own terms without apology. Motherhood is just one version of womanhood, but it's not the only version. And this, my friends, is where our power lies. In the freedom to choose, to redefine, and to live authentically. So let's keep smashing these myths, embracing who we are, and building each other up. Ladies, that's it for today's episode of the Hint Hive Amplifying Women's Voices. If you love this conversation, hit subscribe and share it with a friend who needs to hear it. And as always, stay badass, stay empowered, and I will catch you next week. This podcast is powered by Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching, as well as Kelly M. Hint LMHC and The Cranky Counselor. To find out more about coaching services, head over to CoachKellyHint.com. If you'd like to know more about the psychotherapy services I offer to individuals within the state of New York, you can check out kellymhint.com. And if you'd like to learn more about aromatherapy, you can check out thecrankycounselor.com.